It was deemed a battle for a playoff spot, and Notre Dame secured it. And there really wasn't much doubt, Tim. Notre Dame wins 37-15 over Pittsburgh. Notre Dame led by double digits for 3.5 quarters, by 3 scores for more than half the game. Notre Dame dominated. I think the stat that jumps out at me the most, and look, Notre Dame left points on the field again, which they continue to do in goal to go, as you've written about and talked about. But 0 for 13 for Pittsburgh on third down. They never really had a chance. They padded some stats. They added a late score by calling a timeout late. Look, whatever.
Not a late score, a final play score.
Yeah. Final play score. Whatever Pat Narduzzi wants to do. The fact of the matter is, his team was not prepared to play playoff football today, and Notre Dame's was, and they went out and really hammered them from start to finish.
There's levels in college football, and Pittsburgh is a couple below Notre Dame, and they found that on both sides of the ball today. They have a salty rush defense. They make you work for it, but that leaves them vulnerable on the back end. They play zone now on the back end instead of active man-to-man grabbing defense, which used to be a better complement in the past, but Notre Dame's a better team on both sides of the ball. That's why it opened at 10, went up to 12.5, was going to go to 13. They are quite simply a class above Pittsburgh, and that is because Jeremiah Love, despite when you're going to suffer 7, 8, 9 run stuffs, like all good running backs will against Pittsburgh, he's going to break one for 56 yards. You look up, he's got 147 yards rushing. You say that before the game. It's lights out for Pittsburgh. In a day where Pittsburgh intercepted C.J. Carr for a touchdown, intercepted C.J. Carr to set up a field goal, those were their only game-relevant points until a little bit of consternation there at the end of the game, I believe, when Pat Narduzzi called timeout for fourth down. But as Marcus Freeman said, hey, you got to try to stop them too. Probably could have played prevent defense, but now we're starting to nitpick when you go into a situation here. As you said, it's about as secure as you can get for a playoff spot, because a loss to Syracuse or Stanford would be all on the Irish, probably not the opponent.
Yeah, Notre Dame holds Pittsburgh to 219 yards total offense, shut down the running game completely. Desmond Reed back in action. We see how dangerous he is as a running back, but I think
receiving running back.
No, that's what I mean. I think that's what made him so dangerous, because while everybody is following Johnson, Williams, and Hicks around, Reed sneaks out and hurts you in a pass game. But as it relates to Johnson, Williams, and Hicks, 7 catches, 41 yards. They came in, we were building them as a really great trio of receivers. Reed was more dangerous because you can run him behind them, but they really did very little. The running game, they ended up with 70 yards rushing, but it was more like 25 until the last, the fourth quarter and the last couple possessions. Really a dominant game for Notre Dame. Now, look, Pittsburgh has a really good defense. Notre Dame continues to struggle goal to go. I mean, they do not have not been able to come up with any answers there. Now, when they were held on the goal line, Pittsburgh went 3 and out, punted, and Notre Dame came down, scored. So it really kind of evened itself out. And ultimately, that may be what prevents Notre Dame from moving on deeper into the playoffs, the inability to get in the end zone. But this defense is playing spectacular football. Mason Heinzel is a real handful. We've seen him run out of tackles all year, but he was contained in the passing game. And this defense, pass rush is really coming on. 10 quarterback hurries, 4 sacks. They're doing a little bit of everything, Tim.
Yeah, I had him for 14 quarterback hurries unofficially, and the real key is that the coverage wins downfield just keep piling up. Adon Schuler with a huge tone-setting hit on the first third down where Pittsburgh had Notre Dame on its heels on the first drive. That knocks them back. They inexplicably go for it on fourth down. Josh Bird with a 16-yard sack. That was that looked like he was trying to lose by 110 points. You don't go for them in that situation.
That was a Pat Narduzzi situation.
It really
decision.
Was. Josh Burnham played very well, but Adon Schuler, Tay Johnson, Christian Gray, I think could catch him, would have 5 interceptions this year. A nice pass breakup, though, also on third down. Leonard Moore looked human. He actually grabbed somebody on one play. I guess he's still great, not only good, but great. But that secondary has played wonderful football. Devontae Smith with his best game. That's important because I never thought, looking at Devontae Smith in those first few games, that he looked like a guy that could cover one-on-one on nickel. The BC game and this game, he started to look that part a little bit. That's kind of the last vestige of when you're going to go against better offenses than Pitt. They have good receivers and a quality quarterback. When you're going to go better offenses, you really need Devontae Smith chipping in as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that was a tough matchup. Poppy Williams is
a
guy
that's a hard one.
That is really, really good. But they did a great job of shutting all those guys down. Time of possession, Notre Dame over 35 minutes. Pittsburgh under 25 minutes. Again, C.J. Carr, really a couple really bad interceptions.
Yeah.
But that's part of the learning process with him. Eli Raridan, it was almost the Raridan drive all by himself if they could have converted on that fourth down, or if he could have snuck his way in. We laugh about Eli Raridan. no concept whatsoever where the sideline is.
Well, I think the biggest issue I have with Reardon now, because we even joked on our Irish Illustrated thread that was a red zone target. They still haven't thrown him the ball in the end zone. It does not make any sense for it. They have not thrown Eli Reardon a pass in the end zone across the goal line. He's 6'6", 6'7", and he can jump. That should be the next. That's how Notre Dame can try.
And Malachi Fields too. They haven't used him.
As well as he could. I mean, it does come down a little bit. I know execution's part of it, but we were talking about this a lot today. A lot of that was on the 4th and 1 call. The rollout pass. We could criticize because it didn't work and it wasn't open. And they covered it again. But do you have to resort to a 4th and 1 rollout pass to Eli Reardon? You can't get your quarterback under center. I know Carr didn't look good in his one time under center today, but that was from his back 1 yard line. There has to be a way a quarterback can get 2 feet that was inside the 1 yard line under center. And if not, the lead block by Jeremiah Love for CJ Carr Power has worked extremely well this year as well. There has to be something at the goal to go. And we are nitpicking because we should at this point. They're way better than Pittsburgh. That game could have been an epic blowout if you scored a goal to go and make it 21-3.
Well, it worked with Riley Leonard. It would probably work with Tyler Buckner. I'm not sure. I mean, we've seen that it doesn't work with CJ Carr. He doesn't provide a lot of power. You and I have talked about Aeneas Williams. I think Aeneas Williams can't even get in the game when you're up by multiple touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game. So they haven't come up with a solution for that, but we are nitpicking here because Notre Dame was the dominant team. We talked about the quarterback pressures. Bubakar Traore had 3. Kingston Viliamu-Asa had 2.
He also had on 4th down, which is key for Viliamu-Asa. He made a couple 3rd and 4th down stops. I think he only made 3 plays on the game, but it was 3rd down stop, 3rd down pressure, 4th down pressure. That's making an impact at linebacker.
But we're nitpicking because Notre Dame clearly was the better football team here today, and they proved it right from the very beginning. Anything else, Tim?
Yeah, Malachi Fields, when I said Don Schuler set the tone, Malachi Fields set the tone with one of the greatest catches you'll ever see.
Geez.
And he was a guy they could go to. They went to him, of course, with a 25-yard touchdown, the 6-yard touchdown as well. He got the game ball for that. I mean, you could give it to Jeremiah Love every game, but I thought Malachi Fields was the difference maker Notre Dame needed today, and it can loosen things a little bit up for Jeremiah Love as well.
Still looking for a kicker, 46-yarder. That's a tough one to start with. Our angle. I mean, I think he missed it pretty badly. We didn't have a really good angle to see. We'll have an opportunity to see that, Tim. I don't know what other Notre Dame rushed for 175 yards. That was kind of where I pegged if Notre Dame could get in that range, because teams don't rush for 220 yards against Pittsburgh, but they did. NC State had success. Hollywood Smothers had success. If you could get into that 165, 170, 180 yard range, you're going to beat Pittsburgh. And Jeremiah Love got 56 of it early on, but it all counts for a total of 175.
Getting healthy on the offensive line and defensive line and goal-to-go situations, I think that's the final frontier for Notre Dame in these 2 weeks going into playoff preparation.
Syracuse coming up, then a trip to Stanford. Don't see how those teams have much of a chance to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame has put themselves in a good position. They won 8 in a row. They are in a good position to win 10 in a row. As Notre Dame comes away with a 37-15 victory over Pittsburgh.
As usual.
Instant analysis brought to you by the RVMH Hall of Fame in the Northern Indiana Event Center in Elkhart, Indiana.